This is the Ultimate Countdown. This is UFC Top 10.
The definition of an upset is surprising the masses.
Oh my, he got hit! Oh, he's got the rear naked choke!
People love to watch the underdog win.
This place is deafening!
Guy who can't and somehow does.
Oh! Tagged him.
In the UFC, it happens like this.
Oh, out cold! Oh! Big shot trying to finish!
They just go for the right move and they catch you.
He hurt him again!
They get clipped with that 4-ounce glove, anybody can go down to the canvas.
You never know what's gonna happen.
That is incredible!
On this episode, we will rank the top 10 most shocking underdog victories in UFC history.
It's always awesome when something that you don't expect to happen happens.
Newsflash, it happens.
This is UFC Top 10 Upsets. Number 10, Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz.
Conor, he had been beating everybody.
Oh, he's out! He slapped him!
Nobody can take that left-hand shot.
He was the featherweight UFC champion.
Talks a lot, he's confident.
The king speaks however he wants. Have I been wrong yet? Have I been wrong yet? Doesn't matter if it's a featherweight, the lightweight, the welterweight, it's the McGregor belt.
He was supposed to be fighting for the lightweight title at that time.
So Sanyo's wound up getting injured, and UFC was searching for an opponent.
All right, Dana, who is McGregor gonna fight?
He will fight Nate Diaz.
The only approach I changed is I dug the grave a little bit wider, a little bit longer for Nate's skinny, fat, long body.
Nate Diaz comes into the fight short notice.
I would describe Nate Diaz as not the most skillful guy. He can't kick, he can't wrestle.
Conor the aggressor here early. That one landed clean.
Body's there as well.
Good left.
Nate, he's a tough dude. He's gonna get his ass kicked and keep coming.
I saw the moment when Conor felt Nate should be out of there,
Excellent exchanges here.
but Nate was still right in front of him, and when Nate cracked him,
Oh! Oh, he tagged him.
I think Conor kind of panicked a little himself.
He tagged him. He hurt him.
Conor felt like he was getting the better of Nate and started getting a bit more emotional with his striking, and he gassed out in the second round.
Oh! And again with a combination. And Conor looks for the takedown.
As soon as he gets to the ground, boom, slap on the guillotine.
Look out for the guillotine! The guillotine!
Oh, transition.
Gets the mount! My goodness! Now he's got the back!
Boom.
He's got him flattened out! That's it! He's got the chest! Diaz!
Conor went out there, got tired, and Nate just took full advantage.
Nate's not an athlete, he's a martial artist, and martial artists always stay ready.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Number 9, Matt Hughes versus BJ Penn.
Matt Hughes was the welterweight champion at the time that he fought BJ, one of the best MMA fighters of all time, a true legend.
He had this aura, not only that he was a champion, but that he was unbeatable. That you could have him almost out and he was gonna come back.
They say he's one of the strongest guys, pound for pound, in the UFC history.
When BJ Penn goes up to fight him, everybody was like, this guy's a 155-pound fighter. He cannot beat a 170-pound fighter. It's never gonna happen. BJ Penn wants to step up to the 170-pound division. I welcome the idea.
Here I was coming up from lightweight, and I knew I brought speed to the table. It was just a perfect storm for Matt.
Just a scrappy BJ Penn, a scrappy dude. You wanted to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Hawaiians hit hard, and we got big hearts.
Are you ready? Let's go!
At the beginning of the fight, I was on the impression that Matt Hughes was gonna do what he does and take him down, but they exchanged some hands. BJ's a little bit faster.
You gotta give the advantage here to BJ. This is BJ's world.
2 feet on your hips, and then you can kind of just turn and the feet slide away, and you can just load up a big right hand.
Oh! I said that. He lands a big right hand.
I think we both knew, that could be the beginning of the end right there.
And he's in his half guard now. He passed. He's mounted. He's got his back. 45 seconds left in round 1.
BJ took his back, and it was the beginning of the end.
BJ looking for the choke. He's got the choke. He's down. It's over. It's over. We have a new welterweight champion.
I remember Matt Hughes looking surprised when it happened.
BJ Penn put Hawaii on the map, and he made me believe that we can all do that too.
This is why we love sport. There's only space for one at the top. And he believed he could beat Hughes, and hey, he proved to us all that he could.
Number 8, Mirko Krokop versus Gabriel Gonzaga.
Mirko Krokop had a spectacular career kickboxing and mixed martial arts in Japan.
Krokop's kicks are thunderous. They are very, very hard.
Oh,
His right leg was the hospital. Left leg, the cemetery.
There it is! The trademark left kick, and it's over! Just like that!
The historically world-renowned known striker versus Gabriel Gonzaga, the big hairy monster.
He wasn't known for kicking or kickboxing. He was more known for his grappling as BJJ.
Gonzaga, Mirko Krokop.
We were all expecting a left head kick from Krokop to crumble Gonzaga.
Stop! There's only one thing to say about that fight. Gabriel Gonzaga, Krokop to Krokop.
He Krokop.
He is Krokop to Krokop.
He's supposed to kick you in the face, and that's exactly what didn't happen.
What the happened, man?
The entire arena was on their feet. Everybody watching that fight fell out of their chair.
Number 7, BJ Penn versus Frankie Edgar.
I was a champion, a lot of momentum behind me, and I ended up fighting Frankie Edgar in Abu Dhabi.
In mixed martial arts with the hardcore fans, BJ Penn is a god.
This mystique around him was just that he was unstoppable, and his jiu-jitsu, his knockout power, the kid could do everything.
He was it. Literally ran through everyone, licking blood off his hands. He was a monster. I was supposed to be a sacrificial lamb in that one.
Frankie was a huge underdog. It was freaking ridiculous.
BJ Penn felt like if I go in there and I am BJ Penn, the greatest lightweight of all time, then I'm gonna beat Frankie Edgar.
Here we go!
The game plan is how it is for all my fights. You go in there, be active, come forward, throw a lot of punches, look for takedowns.
Does anybody move as much as Frankie Edgar?
The tempo and the pace of Frankie Edgar really caught up with him.
Frankie Edgar can wear you down just watching him move around like this.
Yeah, my eyeballs hurt.
BJ swinging and missing, and Frankie, dodging and ducking and taking him down.
To see Frankie Edgar take BJ Penn down, I think was a real eye-opener.
He has not been taken down at lightweight in over 6 years.
Frankie came with a lot of good stuff, like grabbing your knee and pushing your chest and running you backwards.
Nice.
I'm screaming at Frankie from the cage, like, don't give this guy no one round.
Head kick. Good right hand by Frank.
This title fight will go to the judges' scorecard.
It was a Frankie Edgar fight, that's all you can say.
I brought the fight, and I finally achieved one of my lifetime goals.
Next on UFC Top 10.
He hurt him.
1/2 of a second.
Anything can happen.
St. Pierre is buckled.
Damn, anything can happen.
We'll see all of that and more when we come back on UFC Top 10 Upsets.
Real meal for $5. 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 Finger licking, finger licking, finger licking.
Rated RP to M.
So, Gary, we're looking for someone who's cool under pressure. A quick thinker. Someone who won't back down from a big challenge. Does that sound like you, Gary?
Yeah.
PlayStation, the best place to play.
PlayStation.
Howdy, folks. I'm here to tell you about KFC's Honey Mustard Barbecue Georgia Gold.
No, tell them about Nashville Hot.
Who said that? Georgia Gold.
Nashville Hot.
Try both delicious flavors at KFC.
These guys are savages with knockout power.
Demetrius Johnson, 10 title defenses, 6 of them stoppage wins.
He's the best.
Score doing damage.
He is an animal inside the octagon. Ferguson is a monster.
Kevin Lee.
This kid is a phenomenal talent.
Former champ Fabricio Verdun.
The greatest submission artist in the history of the heavyweight division.
The Black Beast.
That guy shuts the lights out.
Welcome back to UFC Top 10 Upsets. Number 6, Shogun Rua versus Forrest Griffin.
Shogun was coming over from Pride. He was a guy who'd been knocking out the biggest names in the world.
Absolutely decimating Rampage Jackson.
Shogun was the guy. Shogun had actually been one of my favorite fighters to watch because of the crazy stuff he did.
Those people thought Forrest was not on his level.
Started. We are underway.
Nobody on the planet gave Forrest Griffin a shot.
Shogun with the takedown.
I saw the way Shogun fought, just always attacking, and I thought, if he does that to me, I'm gonna be like The Rock that he breaks himself on.
Shogun pushing forward.
Forrest was just keeping a ridiculous, patented, relentless pace.
You hear his corner screaming that he's gassing.
I think Shogun got tired of not being able to put him away.
High kicks are going nowhere.
Heading into that final round, Forrest's face was cut and battered, but he was not deterred because on the other side, Shogun Hua was officially gasping for air.
How much cardio does Shogun have left?
Nobody taps Shogun Hua out. That'd be crazy.
Forrest got the rear naked choke. Forrest Griffin has defeated Shogun.
Nobody saw that coming.
I said it every time. I ain't that great, but I will fight anybody.
A monumental career moment for Forrest Griffin and an amazing upset of Shogun Hua at UFC 76.
Number 5, Luke Rockhold versus Michael Bisping II.
At UFC 199, Luke Rockhold was the champ, and he was confident in being the champ.
He's in his prime right now.
Good-looking guy, can surf, can fight, big, tall, ripped.
185.
Guy can do it all.
I was slated to fight Luke.
The injury bug strikes again. This time, it's Chris Weidman, who is out of the middleweight title fight against Luke Rockhold.
2 weeks out, Michael Bisping steps in off of a movie set to fight for the middleweight title.
Anybody underestimates me, they pay the price. Luke Rockhold will be no different.
And I think people forgot to tell Bisping that you can't win this.
There's not a single person in the world I would rather take the belt off than this smoke right here.
This was a rematch. Rockhold beat Bisping in the first fight.
Oh, and a head kick. Bisping's hurt. There's a guillotine.
It is over. The feud is done.
Luke definitely had no respect for Bisping.
It's time to penetrate that thick skull and make him realize his true destiny.
At that point, Bisping was known as Mr. Pillow Hands pretty much and had no punching power.
Michael Bisping, Luke Rockhold. Here we go.
And Luke thought he had a good chin, I guess.
And Rockhold has his chin straight up in the air, Mike. Oh, he hurt him.
Bisping's a guy you can never count out. He's always going to be in the fight and always has a chance of winning.
Caught him with a left. And again, Michael Bisping. That's it.
Where Rockhold went wrong is he got too comfortable.
Oh, my.
I was 100% surprised that Michael Bisping walked away the champion in that fight.
Michael Bisping knocked out Luke Rockhold. Now, that was an upset.
I think the whole world was surprised with that.
This is my dream. Nobody was taking this away from me.
Number 4, Renan Barão versus TJ Dillashaw.
UFC 173 in my title shot against Renan Barão.
This kid is something special. Renan Barão is so dynamic.
At the time, Renan Barão was undefeated in 10 years, had a 33-fight unbeaten streak.
That kid is dangerous.
He was an unbeatable champion. He had been all the #1 contenders. Nobody really heard about TJ, and I think he came in on short notice in that fight. Looked like this great up-and-coming prospect, but it looked like the fight was maybe a little bit too much for him at that particular time.
All bets were on Renan Barão.
Fight starts, and immediately you just see an incredible skill set just break loose that nobody's ever seen before.
Look how light he is on his feet, too.
Came out aggressive, lots of movement, landed a big overhand right that dropped him in the first round.
Big shot trying to finish.
This invincible fighter, Renan Barão, was put on his butt by this relatively unknown kid.
I mean, he is teeing off on Barão.
Creating angles, being smart.
Everything was going right. My footwork was so much faster.
Change of direction, straight left hand.
Dillashaw put on a performance of a lifetime that night.
He just picked apart a guy who everybody was saying was the best in sliced bread.
TJ Dillashaw is dominating a guy who everybody thought is the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. Looking for the finish.
For him to dominate him the entire fight and then pull out a TKO victory, man, he really put himself on the map.
That was the greatest performance I've ever seen in my life.
Up next on UFC Top 10.
It was David versus Goliath.
Oh, my, he got hit.
Definition of an upset.
That's top 3 craziest upsets ever in the UFC.
See who shocked the world next on UFC Top 10 Upsets.
Saturday on Fox. The Hawkeyes are out to prove their time is now. Touchdown! As they take on Michigan State in a Big Ten showdown. Then, fueled by their high-powered offense,
In the end zone, touchdown!
Oklahoma State looks to climb the ranks of the nation's elite in a shootout against Texas Tech. College football, Saturday on Fox.
we're proud to reveal that Jim Beam Black has been awarded the world's highest rated bourbon. Their words, not ours. Make history.
Introducing Hut Rewards from Pizza Hut. Finally, a rewards program that gives you points toward free pizza with every dollar you spend online. And get unlimited double rewards through October 1st. Don't settle for a piece of the pie. Join Hut Rewards today and earn free pizza faster. That's why no one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is UFC Top 10 Upsets. Number 3, Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm.
Leading into the Holly Holm fight, Ronda Rousey was just on a tear.
Oh my goodness. She's unbelievable.
Ronda was as big of a star as we've ever seen. I couldn't turn my TV to a station that didn't have Ronda Rousey on.
Imagining Ronda losing was just, you just didn't do it.
She is better than she's ever been before, and she was already the best.
What makes me so confident that I can win is I'm the greatest fighter in the world.
I knew that in order to beat her, I had to believe in myself because I knew that, a lot of people didn't think it could happen.
I had trained with Holly for years and had a ton of respect for her. But even in my mind, a friend of mine is walking out there. I had my doubts.
Here we go!
Round 1, Ronda Rousey comes out really aggressive, like her, vintage Ronda Rousey style. And Holly was able to use her footwork to stay out of the clinch.
Footwork and movement, it's one of the things that make her most dangerous.
She picked her apart. She had the perfect game plan. She stayed really composed. She was very focused.
Holly Holm is tagging her. She's getting lit up, Mike.
I think Ronda and her camp overestimated their striking ability and overestimated their ability to get in and clinch her.
I had never seen Ronda Rousey get hit the way Holly Holm did her.
This is a big first round for Holly Holm.
You saw her sit down on the stool, and you saw the doubt.
During training camp, my coach told me, he said, Holly, you're gonna have her timing, wait and see it. I know that when she swung, I dipped under her punch.
Ducking under, wow, this is incredible.
I knew that I had her timing down. She kind of came in hard, and I threw a straight left that dropped her.
Straight left, beautiful, she's hurt.
And that part was slow motion from there.
Oh, head kick, Holly looking to finish.
Once that kick landed, the crowd went silent.
What a performance by Holly Holm.
Wow. Everybody was shocked.
She just fought the perfect fight.
I see it as an upset, but I don't see it as, a huge shock or something that was unobtainable, because I believed I could have done it.
Number 2, Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman.
Anderson Silva is a champion that everybody has already deemed, hey, he's the greatest of all time.
There has never been anyone like that man right there.
Anderson Silva was unbeatable.
This is just confidence-crushing clowning.
He almost had like an immortal status.
I mean, that's incredible.
Anderson had kind of lulled people into thinking they had to fight him in a way and be scared of him. Most of the people in the middleweight division didn't even think they would have a chance against him. Then there comes me.
He rocks him on the way out, he is out!
Very confident, finishing a lot of the guys in my weight class, and then telling everybody I was going to finish Anderson Silva.
I expected people to think I'm going to lose the fight, but that gets me excited to prove them wrong.
Chris Weidman was this young kid, not overly impressive. I felt like most people felt like he was just getting lucky.
He had less than 15 fights, and he's fighting for the middleweight title.
I don't know if Chris felt the aura of Anderson Silva, but as one of his guys in his corner and a guy training with him a lot for that fight, I definitely felt it.
Chris Weidman goes out there and he does what no one expected him to do. He stands and exchanges with Anderson.
He's got to be very careful with this game he's playing here.
The plan, not to do what Chris did. I don't think he really followed the plan of what he was supposed to do.
The kid got some balls.
Anderson's being vintage Anderson. He's got his hands down and his chin out.
He needs to not around with this.
He uses some of his tactics to lure you in. He was looking to do that against Weidman, and Weidman wasn't having it.
He just played that game a little bit too much, and I got pissed, and I said, I'm just not going to stop punching until I knock you out.
Oh, my, he got hit! Looking to finish it! It is all over! Chris Weidman is the UFC middleweight champion! My goodness!
Yes! Oh, my God.
I look over at my broadcast partners, and all of us have eyes like this.
And he was laying on his back with his eyes in the back of his head. I still thought Anderson was clowning around. I couldn't believe what I was seeing at the time.
You can't play games in the octagon, even if you're Anderson Silva.
Yeah, when I knocked him out, there was a crazy, surreal feeling. I mean, I just knocked out the greatest of all time. And the odds were against me, and I proved everybody wrong.
Coming up, we'll reveal the #1 upset in UFC history.
Join me on a journey to explore the stories that make us human. Do you think that justice and revenge are different?
How can you hate me when you don't even know me?
All of us have a complicated way of identifying who we are.
Seeking the common bonds that define humanity.
The Story of Us with Morgan Freeman premieres Wednesday, October 11th at 9 on National Geographic.
Introducing Hut Rewards from Pizza Hut. Finally, a rewards program that gives you points toward free pizza with every dollar you spend online. And get unlimited double rewards through October 1st. Don't settle for a piece of the pie. Join Hut Rewards today and earn free pizza faster. That's why no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Today's Best Western is more rewarding than ever. Rewards members get our best rates and points that never expire. Fast forward to a free night by earning double rewards points with every stay. Go get rewarded. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Welcome back. Here are the top 10 upsets in UFC history.
Oh, got him with a good one there.
Nate, he's a tough dude. He's gonna get his ass kicked and keep coming.
He's got the choke. He tapped.
BJ looking for the choke.
He's got the choke. He's tapped.
I remember Matt Hughes looking surprised when it happened.
Gabriel Gonzaga, crow cop to crow cop.
I was supposed to be a sacrificial lamb in that one.
Take down, look at that.
He has not been taken down at lightweight in over 6 years.
Nobody taps Shogun Hua out. That'd be crazy.
Luke thought he had a good chin, I guess.
Oh, he hurt him. He hurt him bad. Michael Bisping. That's it. Oh!
For him to dominate him the entire fight and then pull out a TKO victory, man, he really put himself on the map.
I had never seen Ronda Rousey get hit the way Holly Holm did her.
Head kick. What a performance by Holly Holm.
He just played that game a little bit too much, and I got pissed, and I said, I'm just not going to stop punching until I knock you out.
Oh, my, he got hit. It is all over. Chris Weidman.
And the #1 upset in UFC history. Georges St. Pierre versus Matt Serra.
Matt Serra was coming off of winning the Ultimate Fighter, the Comeback Series, in a very, very close decision to Chris Lytle.
Matt Serra!
A show for the guys that didn't quite cut it. He wins it, and what is your reward? You get to fight Georges St. Pierre, probably the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world at that time.
Georges St. Pierre is just such an athlete and a freak, you know? But I'll fight whoever they put in front of me like I always have.
People thought this was the guy who really didn't have the ability to beat the champion.
He was thought to be not just a UFC champion, but a guy who was going to go down in history as one of the all-time greats.
Matt Serra was shorter and slower and a little bit older. He's a little stocky little New Yorker.
This is a guy who'd been knocked out, spinning back fists, been defeated in the UFC multiple times. He goes out there, moves up a weight class.
Going into that octagon, there was no reason for George or anyone in that arena to believe that this was not going to be a typical Georges St. Pierre performance.
Let's get it on! Come on!
Will tonight be the defining moment of Matt Serra's career?
Nobody believed Matt Serra had a chance.
Nice right hand by Matt Serra. He seems perfectly comfortable in the exchanges here.
What I really ignored at the time was that Matt Serra is not only a good grappler, he's a great striker. He's got a very powerful right hand that I never saw coming, by the way.
Oh, yes!
Sarah
he's working on Georges St. Pierre. He caught him. He hurt him again. He hurt him again.
He hit me right behind the ear. And when he hit me, I remember my ego took over. And I decided to make a slugfest with it.
St. Pierre is buckled.
Bang, 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 bang. And he tagged me a few times until I fall on my back. And I was like, I was not even there. I was gone.
It is unbelievable! Serra is the new welterweight champion of the world! That is incredible!
The whole arena was on their feet. I was on my feet with my mouth open. Matt Serra
Of history. Greatest upset we've ever seen.
This sport is so crazy. You just never know what's gonna happen.
Kaz Grala, the youngest driver to win at Daytona. Congratulations to Christopher Bell.
That's a badass drive right there.
Austin Cindric is going to come around for the victory. There's the checkered flag for Johnny Sauter.